Well, good morning. Last night was crazy. The rain was crazy. There was a moment where it stopped, or not really stopped, but it slowed down for a bit. So we got up and we were able to get the tarp on the tiny house. So after that, we felt a lot more at ease knowing that that thing was covered. So then the funny thing was, as soon as we got the tiny house covered with the tarp, it seems like the rain let up. It's just crazy how that stuff works. If we wouldn't have covered it, it probably would have rained and rained and rained all night. Who knows? So we took a broom and we swept out some water. There was definitely water in the tiny house, about a ½ inch to an inch of water standing in the tiny house. So we swept that out, got it out. This was like probably 2 in the morning or something when all this happened. So then we finally got that done and went back to the tent and were able to get some sleep. And it was thunderstorms last night. Boom, big lightning storms and thunder. Crazy weather last night. So we woke up this morning to a nice peaceful day, had some breakfast. We had some spam and eggs and ate, hydrated up, and now we're getting ready to start the day. So hopefully it's going to be a good one. Hopefully the weather holds out. The weather in the forecast that I was talking about earlier was for tomorrow. So this storm last night was kind of like a freak thing. So we're going to try to get some stuff done today, hopefully, fingers crossed, and that's the plan for today. So here's how the tarp looks on the tiny house. It looks a little wonky right now. We put that up in the middle of the night. It was dark. We had headlamps on, but it did a good job keeping this thing dried in for the night. And then coming in, there was water up in the loft. I don't even know what the loft looks like right now. But down here, we had to sweep a lot of the water out. All the tools were up in the loft, so we had to pull those out and get them out. But that's what it looks like underneath the tiny house after a rainstorm. So it's time to get started and get our day going and see if we can get this thing sheeted. That we are in the process of putting our sheeting up, and it looks really good. We just gotta fasten it down. I'm gonna turn the camera off right now. It's just too much trying to run the camera and sheet and get the right angle, so I'll see you guys when we're done with this. Well, it's time for the harness. So I got my old working harness on. I got the Petzl gree-gree. I got a lock and carabiner. And I have a rope draped all the way over the building from the other side all the way over. And it's tied to the post. One of these posts down here on the other side. So this will make it a lot safer for me to work up there with such an extreme 45-degree angle. You get to have fun a little bit around here. It feels good to have that done. The gree-gree and the harness, it really made me not feel as nervous or as scared. This was a good addition. So I'm happy that this side is done. Now we get to start the other side. Okay, we are gonna go ahead and take a look at the tiny house from the top. So let's go ahead and get clipped into our harness here. We'll look at the building and let's take a look. Let's get on up there and take a look. In case you're curious about the belay device that I'm using, this is the Petzl gree-gree. This is a great device. So what it does is it locks into place. When you lean back on it, it locks into place. And then if you want to lower yourself, you just put your hand on the brake here and then pull this lever and you can lower yourself down. But I like it because going up on the tiny house, this is a steep 45-degree roof. So the belay device, the gree-gree, worked fantastic for this. So we're going to get up to the top and take a look and see what it looks like from up here. So this is the view that I've been at pretty much all day. I've been up here and then looking down. That's what you get behind you. Look over here. This is it. This is the ridge. I do have my tarp up here, but both sides are sheeted. It feels good to have that work done. The gree-gree has been fantastic for this. It's just been awesome. It's not necessarily designed for this. It's a climbing thing, but I used to climb a lot in the 90s and I still had all this gear. So in fact, you can even do like a little bit of rappel with it if you want to. It's pretty cool. It's a little sketchy going over the edge here though, because you got to get set down. Got to get your feet under you, lean back real good, let the rope rest, and then you can come on down. But that's how that gree-gree works. Works absolutely fantastic. And there's a little picture of a climber on it, and then a picture for your brake hand. And you just put it under your harness and lock in, and then this is the lever. So what happens is the rope goes in here, and then as you start to fall or something, you can see that it pinches right there under the rope. But more about that later. Let's go ahead and go on into the tiny house and take a look from the inside and see how it looks. Now it's a little bit dirty, but wow, look at that. Just walking in here now that we're semi-dried in, it's kind of a cool feeling. Kind of a cool feeling. Got the loft, got 2 boards. Still got more to do up here in the loft, but there's the bird blocking from underneath. You can see all the bird blocking there. Very nice. See all that bird blocking? Now climbing up this ladder, we'll go on up into the loft. Right now we're looking to the south. See Jean over there taking the tent down. Here's our sheeting that got put up. And there's the loft area. It's pretty cool up here. Let's go all the way up. Step on up. And I'm looking out the north side, sitting down. You can see the bird blocking over there. And it's nice having this thing somewhat dried in. Very cool. There's the flyers from underneath, how they look. And then if I turn over here, you can see these flyers here. They worked out really well. Now up in this area that you're seeing right up in here, you can see a little bit of daylight in from there. That's something that we'll caulk later. We didn't know how tight that was going to be, but looks fantastic. I'm really happy with what we've accomplished on this build. It's wonderful. Now I got to get all these tools put away because we're going to hit the road and come back up, and because there's weather going to be rolling in, we'll be coming back up and putting metal on the roof. But until then, we're just going to put the tarp over. It's a 16 by 30 canvas tarp. So now let me go ahead and get down out of the loft. I just look right down at the ladder there. It's actually pretty simple. I put one hand here, put the other hand here, and then lower myself down onto the ladder. It's not that hard. Let's go ahead and pull these tools and get these put away. But you guys don't have to watch all of that. It's pretty simple. Now I did want to talk about anchoring. So if you guys are curious how I anchored, I just have a 200-foot climbing rope right here. So this is a 200-foot climbing rope. There's an ATC and another locking carabiner. Now what I did was I tied a bowline around this beam here. Just a bowline. That way it'll be easy to untie when we're done. And then I tied a figure of 8 on a bite, and then another one. And this is the one that goes up to me. So the reason I did those double figure 8s is because I had 200 feet of rope and I didn't want to stretch 200 feet of rope. So I put the rope in this solar bag so it doesn't get dirt and damage. I mean, it's still a traditional climbing rope. And I say traditional as in trad, as in we're using nuts, cams, things like that. But this is that tarp, very thick, and it's going to protect the tiny house while we're gone until we can get up again. But that's what it looks like. It's just a fantastic feeling to have this thing looking the way it does. It's just wonderful. Look at that. Wow. What an amazing job we've done. So now I'm going to put these tools away. Then I'm going to pull that tarp over, put that door back in place temporarily, and then we'll come up another day and finish things up. But it's nice to be semi-dried in. Okay, so earlier I was talking about rafters, and I wanted to talk about the headspace that we're going to get up here in the loft. If we look at the floor right here underneath our feet, and we want to determine the bottom of the ridge beam, like I said earlier, it's about 4 foot 11 inches, 4 foot 10 and a half, something like that, if my math is correct. So if we measure right there, I have 4 foot 10, about 4 foot 11 is what we're dealing with. So the head space for us inside of here is 4 foot 11 inches. That's perfect. You know, I'm 5 foot 8, so I'm going to have to hunch over a little bit to get up in here. But that's okay with me because most of the stuff that we're going to be doing up here is sleeping. I might have a little desk out here. look out the window, stuff like that. So 4'11", perfect for us. Well, we've got the tiny house buttoned up and we are out of here. We got that 16 by 30 tarp up there. Now we can hit the road, and if it rains, it's not going to be that big of a deal. It actually looks pretty nice. It was a little bit difficult getting that tarp up there. I'm trying to get a better vantage point here. There's some screws at the top on the ridge holding the tarp in place. And that looks good. We're out of here. Well, I can definitely feel the cold weather coming in. It's starting to get windy. We got the tiny house buttoned up. This is a 16 by 30 canvas tarp. I got a screw at the top of the ridge beam on each end that's going into the grommet, and then we just clamped it there. So it should be fine if there's any rain or anything that comes while we're gone. So with all that being said, this has been a very productive trip. We're out of here. Next time we return, we will be installing the metal roofing and the ridge cap. Hope you're enjoying. I love you all. We'll see you next time.